Thank you.
You know, when we look at this country, one of the founding fathers' big principles was the idea of freedom, and also the idea of the right to privacy. And it seems like ever since this whole thing with 9/11, the government has decided that we needed to be looked at more stringently because we have quote unquote people here that want to do harm to us. And one of the things that I'm concerned about is that the FISA rules or regulations in Congress have come up for renewal. And that's the federal law that says that the surveillance can be given to the general public by the FBI and other organizing agencies. And some of these provisions are up for renewal. And I want to ask you, what did you think about some of these things and if they should be renewed?
Well, they're supposed to expire, I think, December 31st, and I think three articles are supposed to be affected by that.
Right.
And well, I'm uh, just trying to pay attention to what the politicians are talking about.
Right.
And Senator Feinstein said that she was basically, I'm paraphrasing, but she was comfortable with the modifications that came out of the committee. And then on the other side, Russell Feingold,
Right.
he feels that that enough hasn't been done to provide security and civil liberties for citizens
Mm-hmm.
to go along with letting it expire. So I think I don't know. You know, I'm sitting on the fence right now
Right.
because I don't know that much about it. But
Right.
knowing what I know about how the government is,
Right.
Feingold also said that he doesn't want the government to have broad authority and just keep our fingers crossed. So I think we have to be, vigilant in terms of
Exactly.
really, focus on really what's going on.
Well, one of the things that I thought was interesting, because there was a documentary that was on Channel 13, and it was dealing with all of these people that were getting these letters that the federal government, FBI, was using. The FBI sent out these letters to individuals, and then what happens is that you have to respond to them, but you can't tell anybody that you got the letter. You can't even let the public or a friend or anyone know, and you can't really fight against it. So these letters, they can give out to your employer, they can give out to any businesses that you deal with, and then they can take any of your information, and you don't have to be notified. And then they can gag you from even talking about it when they put you on this list or whatever. And they had this woman that was on this watch list that the FBI sent her one of these notification letters,
Mm-hmm.
and she was going crazy because they had tied up all of her bank accounts. They had tied up, everything that she was trying to handle in terms of paying her finances and things like that. She couldn't do anything, and she had to go to court, and she couldn't even tell her lawyer what the whole thing was about until they got to court.
Well, I think that kind of lends evidence to what Feingold was talking about, because
Mm-hmm.
he didn't feel comfortable with them having unwarranted searches of
Mm-hmm.
business and personal records,
Right.
as well as unwarranted surveillance. So I think it lends credence to his anxiety
Right.
about about the article.
Right, because there has to be some type of connection. This word terrorism, especially as it's written, is just so broad. But how do you make that connection? And they were not forcing the FBI and other government agencies to make that direct link. Because if you're going to look through my whole life and examine everything, shouldn't there be a reason why you're doing that?
Well, again, I think that's what Feingold was
Right.
talking about when he said that he doesn't feel comfortable with just allowing the government to have broad authority and
Right.
just to do anything that they want, and just keep our fingers crossed that they'll keep our civil liberties in mind. Also, talking about the safety aspect, because after 9/11, talking about the safety, that was the balance between trying to maintain civil liberties
Right.
and then maintain safety at the same time. So I think is walking a fine line in terms of, but really, this is on foreigners though. This is not for U.S. citizens,
Right.
So it's really critical in terms of how they begin defining these new words, and then what they use, the methods that they use to try to flesh out to see, well, who is in mind or have in mind some terrorist activities to try to do harm you know, people in the United States.